on the road now for a while. You know, it's been a while since we've been home, but we finally came back home, and now we're chilling in the backwoods. Whoa, whoa, chilling in the backwoods. Whoa, whoa, chilling in the backwoods. Whoa, chilling in the backwoods.
We're on our way to get a new truck, new to us. Ready? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess.
We're gonna take the new truck. It's the only one that can tow a trailer. We're going to get the rest of this truck. I only have the hood. We're gonna go get the rest of it. So we picked up our truck, our new Ford. It's a 76, one owner truck, original Highboy 4x4. And yeah, we're just hauling her home real careful right now because it's full of junk in the back of there, in the back of the truck. Pulled in here to check the straps, and some stuff's trying to blow out of the box there. Got to rearrange it. Bunch of junk. Motor sitting in the back, transmission, tailgate there, gas tank. Yeah, a bunch of leaves blowing out. Industrial PTO driven winch, part of the deal. Well, I made her home, didn't lose anything. This truck hasn't been on the road since before I was born. Pretty dirty, but the rust really isn't that bad. Get this thing all cleaned out and washed up and start putting her together. Pretty stoked. Basically unloading itself. Wow. Couldn't get more easy than that. Oh, cool.
Boots, don't boots.
Does this go into parts?
Boots.
Yeah, just toss it on the ground there.
Kitty, kitty. Boots.
There you go.
Kitty, kitty.
Dad, can you believe I found that?
Yeah. Look at those real big, those are pistons out of a 1940
And I
something.
found that.
John Deere tractor,
And
2-cylinder.
I found that.
Yeah. That's the exhaust stack. But those pistons are massive.
Let me see.
I can't believe there's still metal underneath this dirt.
Yeah. It's insane.
Dad, but look what I found.
Can I
Oh,
push it into the barrel?
that's
Can I
dirty.
push it into the barrel?
Yeah.
I missed. No. Dad, I found a pole.
Oh, found the antenna. Cool.
Does that goes to the part?
Yep.
Okay, let me go throw it. I can't believe I can't.
Okay. Finished washing it for the first time since I got it. Won't be the last time, that's for sure. Actually, it looks pretty nice. I mean, it's got a lot of dents, but it was used as a truck. Worked hard its whole life. But the box is actually intact. So it's funny the things you find in these old vehicles when you start cleaning them out. A tape measure in there. Who knows how long that's been in there. Flung up with the mud, stuck in there. Huh. Lufkin. So I've been cleaning this truck for a while now. Cleaning out the interior. She's pretty solid. Some rust starting there, but they're not rusted through. To me, that's really good, considering where we live here. I've seen much worse on newer vehicles. So for comparison, this is what I considered my good dent side cap. It has clear holes in it on both sides. But I consider that still usable. That's actually really good. And this one's beyond saving. That's bad. Okay, another prime. Try it again. Oh, it's gonna go. More priming. Try it again. Shooting flames. This is gas pouring out right here.
Oh shit, we gotta call our quits then. Yeah, there's a leak.
I was worried the whole top was gonna burst.
Oh yeah, fuck, I just realized that. Like shit. Okay, well
we know what runs.
It doesn't like knock or blow up or anything. So
we know what runs. That's good for today.
Sweet.
That's cool. So how long have I had this truck now? Since Thursday? Thursday, Friday, Saturday. 3 days. I've owned this truck and I got it running. And the motor wasn't even there. It was sitting in the box.
Sweet.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, it took both of us. I would have never got this done today without you.
That was a lot of work.
I forgot that you should bleed this line before, because then the air acts like a spring. You don't get an accurate reading. pressure.
Got a good oil pressure?
Yep.
Sweet.
That's a good sign.
Sweet. So it is worth putting together.
Yeah. So I just finished doing compression test. I have 0 compression on 3 and 4 and 8. I thought maybe it had a sticking valve or something, but the valves are moving. So I might have bigger problems. Continue investigating here. Could just be a dirty spark plug hole and I never got a good seal. I'll check that out too. I'm out here today. I'm just kind of looking at the parts I have, judging the condition of them and stuff. I have 2 NP 235 4-speed manuals. This one with the shifter is the original that was behind this 300 inline 6, and it worked, but it made a lot of noise in 3rd gear, a lot of whining. So this NP is the original from the green truck, which I'm going to put this motor in, and I don't know anything about it, but it used to be behind a 360 V8, so hopefully it's okay. We'll see. I ended up using the motor mounts from the red crew cab over there, because that's what this motor is originally out of. And the mounts are the same from the V8 and the inline 6, basically. You just got to move it from these 2 holes up to these 2 holes. But the holes here are slightly different. If you want to use the V8 mounts for an inline 6, you have to drill a couple new holes just in the mount itself. But I hate drilling, so I just use the inline 6 mounts. They were ready to go. But I have to bolt down the whole cab. It's not bolted down before I go too far here. Before I start putting the front clip back together. I want to get all the wiring and tricky stuff all sorted out. Right now, well, it's easy to work on, easy to get into. Got quite the mess there. But there's really not much to these. Not hard to hook up. This motor ran really good. Just wasn't quite enough power for the crew cab. I had a big steel flat deck on there and crew cab, bunch of weight. It should work better in this truck. A little bit less weight. This truck originally came with the V8 360, but I put that motor in here and I fired it up, and it had problems. It only ran on 6 cylinders, 5 actually. I did some tests and stuff, and it had, I don't know, must have sticking valves, burnt out valves, something. It had no compression on 3 cylinders. And the lifters weren't rotating in their bore. So she's about to round the cam off pretty soon. So anyways, I just threw this motor in because I know it runs good. Bolts in. And get this truck up and going. I'm here today swapping the rear axle. For obvious reasons. There's no brake pads in there. And it looks like somebody took a few chunks out of it trying to get it apart. And I don't have the axle for this side. Hello.
Hi, Dad.
And I have an exact direct replacement axle right here. Came out of my 73 F250. Same axle. Same purchase. It's out of a 4x4 as well. So it's all correct. She'll bolt right in. So I just cut these U-bolts now. I don't even bother trying to unbolt them. You're not even supposed to reuse old ones. I just got brand new ones, same size. Not hard to get from any parts store. I just cut them. Saves a lot of time and energy. There you go. Now the axle's free. I got it held up with a little jack there. I'll put an old wheel on here, lower it down, roll it out of here, roll the replacement axle in. Easier than messing with the gears and the brakes and everything. I mean the brake pads. I'm still gonna have to bleed the lines. Okay, so I got this windshield out of my parts truck in one piece, which is no easy task. It only has one crack in it. It's not too bad on the passenger side. So I carefully got this windshield out in one piece. It's not impossible, but you got to cut the rubber all the way around the outside and get it out as carefully as possible. And then this truck, the windshield was all smashed, so I just smashed it out even more. So I was able to get the rubber out of this truck intact. I mean, as intact as it can be, because it's pretty old rubber, it's all cracked. I'm not going to use new rubber, not yet. It's not a brand new windshield. It has this big crack that's actually kind of working for me now, because it's a place to put my rope. So, yeah, I got the rope in there. I'm going to rope it in. Got some soapy water I'm going to use around it. It's a little tricky sometimes, but not impossible. Okay, so the windshield's going in fairly easy. One note, you should start your ropes right at the bottom in the middle. I had to pull the rope out and cut it and start it from there. I got that side pinched in the door just to hold it. And this is basically the essence of it. You got the rope in your rubber seal there, channel, and you're just using the rope to pull the lip over. See that? And go slow, take your time. You don't want to put too much stress on the windshield in any place. The corners are the hardest. You got to work them through with screwdrivers and stuff. There is special tools for this, but I don't have them. And yeah, that crack got a little worse. I put a little too much stress on that one corner, so that's going to be tricky. That's basically how you do it. And there's the finished product. Installed a used windshield. It's perfect on the driver's side. Not a single crack. Just that crack over there on the passenger side, which grew quite a bit actually while I was installing it. That was kind of scary, but you know, it is what it is till it isn't. A little bit too much force, I could have lost the whole windshield. Could have just went psh. But yeah, I won this battle. It's kind of snowballing here. I put all new power steering lines on. Got that working good. The leaking there is normal. It's okay. Don't worry about it. So I put some new shocks on. When I bought the truck, it never had shocks at all, so I had to get some new shocks. Having trouble locating brake lines. I got some brake pads. And then I was just repacking the wheel bearings when I noticed, I got it all taken apart there. I noticed how badly wore out my front U-joints were. So that's what I mean by snowballing. Now I had to take the spindle off and slide the axle out and see if I can get it on camera here how loose that is. There, see, completely shot. So I couldn't let that go. So now I'm getting some U-joints, got to repack the bearings. And honestly, I'm so far into it, I may as well do the inner axle seals. Boom. Kaboom. Get that ugly old hitch off of there. working pretty good. I put these mud flaps on the other day, so it's a little more road legal. Just cheap ones, just threw them on there. All lights are working good. I have to rebuild the transfer case. That's pretty minor. I already have the kit for it. Got a nice seat cover. All my dash working. You can't really see that there. Yeah. Voltage. Put the winch back on it. I got a newer but smaller winch for my Jeep. I gotta put that on there still. New master cylinder. Motor's running good. Power steering's leaking a little bit. Got all new lines, but now it's this, forget what it's called, drag link thing. Control unit? I don't know. It's leaking from right there. New shocks. New front brake lines. New pads. I always make sure the brakes are 100% because that's, you don't want to mess around with your brakes. I'm gonna put in a second battery that I usually run my winch off of, and have a little charging control unit thing. Other than that, there's not a whole lot more planned for this truck. Just keep fixing it, using it the way it is. Took it for a 2-hour trip the other day. It did great. I don't know the fuel mileage numbers, I just know it's not that bad with that straight 6. Got all my clearance lights working. The previous owner actually reinforced his front axle. Pretty cool. I got that front receiver welded right to the frame, and the bumper is too. So she's pretty tough. A lot of people don't know this is a Highboy. Highboy was just a nickname, wasn't a factory name. But if you got a F250 4x4, I forget when they start, what year they start, 60 something, but they ended in 77, where if you got the 4x4 F250, you actually got an F350 frame, and that's what makes them a Highboy basically, because the front had to be so high. The leaf springs underneath the frame rail. Like that, you can see the shackle there. The F350 frame was narrower than the F250 frame. So then they had to put these lift blocks in the back to make the rear match the front, and you ended up with a factory lifted truck. Big lift blocks. I had to put new U-bolts in there when I swapped the axle. And then Ford ran a divorce transfer case in these. It was cool because instead of having the transfer case up front attached to the transmission, and you'd have a short front drive shaft at a steep angle, which would wear out U-joints and stuff if you lifted your truck. Ford, they had the transfer case mounted in the middle of the trunk. Front and rear drive shafts were the same length. Good angles for the U-joints, and they just lasted forever. One benefit that's pretty cool to the narrow frame on these is you can run big tires without putting spacers or nothing on. Like, I got lots of clearance. Got 37 by 14. And this truck is stock. You can clear 37-inch tires from the factory. It's pretty cool. Garbage. Woo. Still lots of dust blowing out of the vents and stuff. But we're on our way back to the original owner's house, see if it's home. So we can see his old truck on the road again. I like climbing this hill in front of us. I've had some scary times on this hill in the winter. One time I made it almost to the top and slid down the whole thing backwards with that red crew cab truck. And as I was sliding, I couldn't keep it straight, and I went sideways, and I was sliding down this hill sideways, and oh my god. Luckily, I had the winch, and I got myself out. But, I can climb this hill in second gear, no problem, but I'll just show you the torque of this thing. First gear is not synchronized. It's only for rock crawling or pulling a house, pulling stumps out. So we're still in high range, two-wheel drive, but we're in first. So I could still go into low range and have an even lower gear ratio than this. I have to give it a little gas. I bet if I was in low range, I wouldn't have to touch the gas. I would just climb up this hill on its own. The camera doesn't do it justice, but this is a pretty steep hill. This road. We made it. Second gear.